Hey guys, and welcome back to Jay's and JJ's Kitchen. So today we're going to try to do some of my old school parboil. I'll call it parboil barbecue chicken. That being said, we're going to come back and show you our ingredients and get started. All right, so for our ingredients for our barbecue chicken, kind of had a little dilemma on how I wanted to do this. We have our chicken, we have tomato sauce, black pepper, you see some Lowry seasoning salt here, got sugar, got some crushed red pepper, a lemon, an onion, got some vinegar, and I've got some sea salt. Okay, to try to keep this kind of plain, I'll explain to you why you see all of this, right? Our tomato sauce, our crushed red peppers, use one can here, black pepper, that's going to remain, and sugar, vinegar, set this off to the side here, that'll remain the same, right? Everything remains the same except for the reason I did this is because you can do this two ways. Actually, this is an experiment for me, actually, because what I would normally do in the past, right? Just follow me on this. I would season my chicken with my salt and pepper and basically put it in my pot, and everything else remains the same. However, that's the reason I've got my black pepper and seasoning salt out here, so you can see that method, right? But this time you can see my chicken, it's already seasoned, really, but I'm gonna hit it with black pepper because what I did, that's why you see the kosher salt sitting here. What I did is I brined it, and that's why I put this out here to make sure that just whichever method you want to try. I brined it for like 22 hours, right? And if you brine it, basically, this is your main ingredient, is your kosher salt and water. And you just make a brine and you let that chicken set like that, which basically seasons your chicken. And like I say, I'm just gonna come back and hit it with black pepper. But in the other method, to where if you're just seasoning and not brining, basically you would use these two, your seasoning salt and black pepper, season your chicken, and you put it into your pot to parboil. Okay? So hopefully that is clear. If not, by all means hit me up and I will try to clarify any questions you have on that. So that being said, we're gonna start putting this together, and we'll show you how we put this together, how we start our pot and get our chicken in there and get that parboiled, right? We'll be right back. So okay guys, so now we are ready to get our pot ready to parboil, right? Don't know if any of you guys ever seen it done like this before, but just, hey, stick with me and trust me on this process, okay? So what you're gonna see me do is dump tomato sauce into our pot. I've got like 3 cans here. We got our tomato sauce in there, right? We've got our lemons, I half them and I quarter them, well, kind of half them basically, to make it easy to fish out later on in the process, because once this cooks, I will want to pour those lemons out and let the meat set in the sauce, or I'll call it the sauce that we parboil it in, right? I want it to sit in there like overnight, 12 hours overnight, before I take the meat out and put it on the grill. So basically at the end of the cooking process, I'll parboil it for about 30 minutes, maybe 30 to 40 minutes. And I'll come back and check it and make it, because you don't want it fully cooked to where it's falling off the bones. You want it to stay together. And then basically kind of cook. It's basically it's fully cooked, but not quite there yet, if that makes sense. But we're gonna parboil it for, like I said, 30 to 40 minutes. Then we'll come back, fish the lemons out, because we're gonna let that set overnight, and we don't want the lemon hulls to basically cause our pot here to become bitter. Because if you let the lemons stay in there, because of the lemon pills or hulls or whatever you want to call it, it will make basically that whole thing turn bitter, just like a strong lemon taste. You don't want that. So we've got our lemons in there. Throw our onion. We chop up our onions. Put those in, right? So we've got our tomato sauce, our lemon, onion, some vinegar. That should be good. Our crushed red pepper. To give it a little spice there. And a bit of sugar. Should be a good starting point for what we're doing here today. Now, get this cooking. Our last thing that we need to do, we're going to take our cans, because the tomato sauce, you guys are familiar with that, it's thick, right? You don't want to try to parboil your meat in that, because it's going to stick to the bottom. So what we're going to do is thin this out with water. So we're going to get basically 3 cans of water here. And basically in that process, I get the remaining tomato sauce out of the can, so it is not wasted, right? Now, give a check on this to see how thick it is, if I need to add any more to get it to the consistency that I'm looking for. Yeah, just a little more. I did say 3 cans, and it is going to be just about 3 cans of water. Actually, I'm stopping at 2.5 cans. All right. So we've got our 3 cans of tomato sauce in there. Some of you have the vinegar, crushed red pepper, some sugar, the water, the lemons, the onions. Now we can add our meat to it. And we're just gonna add our meat and basically, so let this parboil for maybe 30 minutes. And once it finishes that, we're gonna remove the lemons out and let that sit overnight. Then tomorrow we'll come back and fire up our charcoal grill. By the way, we're doing barbecue. I know gas grills are very kind of quick and easy. They're good. I love them. However, when I'm doing this version of my ribs, it's something. Maybe I'm just old school. I don't know, but just my personal opinion. It is something about using charcoal when you're doing barbecue, as far as chicken and ribs and stuff like that. It affects the flavor and it gives it a better flavor from the charcoal. Okay. So that being said, we're gonna let this cook, parboil, like I said, and we'll come back and show you where we are and let that set overnight and come back tomorrow and we'll get this on the grill.
Sorry for neglecting to show, but this is where we put our chicken into our pot.
Okay, guys. So our meat probably have been boiling. I would say a good 40 minutes. Wasn't really to a rolling boil when I put it in, so I let it start boiling before I started my timer. It's been about 40 minutes, and you can tell the meat is starting to pull apart from the bones, kind of cooking back a little bit. And that's pretty much where you want it. Let it stop. You want to stop it then, and basically turn it off. And like I said, it's going to sit in there, so it's probably going to continue to slow cook for a little while. I'm going to leave the top off so it will cool down a little bit quicker because I don't want it to kind of sit there, under a little pressure and get continue to cook too much. And just like I said before, we have our fishing edition here to where we're looking for our lemons. That's why you want to remember exactly how many pieces you have in so you can pull that out, because like I said, if you let that set, you pretty much kind of destroyed that whole pot, because it is going to be bitter just because of the lemon pills, right? So there's the one that I had in half, but basically I had two halves, but this one I cut a little bit too much and it fell apart. So there's our one lemon. We've got that out. And here's our meat. It's basically, it's cooked well, but it's not, falling off the bones. So I want it to cool down now. So basically, it will kind of be together when we go and put that on the grill. And it's going to set this in this sauce that we cooked it in overnight. That way, it's going to absorb a lot of that flavor, right? And so basically, you're going to have that tomato base, I would say, flavoring through, down to the bone. And that's what we're looking for. From there, when you put it on the grill, you just kind of let it dry out a little. And you put your sauce on there and let that caramelize. I use your preferred sauce. My preferred sauce is my sauce that I don't make. So once I pull this out, I'll make my sauce and get it on the grill. We get to that point, we'll come back and show you what we do. So okay, guys, before I put the meat on the grill, just wanted to give you guys a shot to see what your meat will look like after cooking it in that my sauce mixture that I cooked my chicken and my ribs in, rib pieces or whatever you want to call them in. So this is what you're looking for. It's got that reddish tint to it. So that sauce is basically really cooked into the meat, and it's all, like I said, it's adding that additional flavor to what I did as far as brining and the process. I said, well, if you don't brine and you just season the meat, that's fine too, because you're gonna get extra added flavor from that sauce mixture that we cooked it in, right? So that's our meat after we parboiled it. Now we're going to get it on the grill and get our kind of dry it out a little bit, not much, just a little bit, and get our sauce on it and get that caramelized, and we'll be done. So when we get finished with that, we'll come back and show you what our finished product look like. And as I said the last time we spoke, or when I was on the video, I told you, showed you our chicken after, or meats basically after our cooking in the sauce and letting it marinate basically overnight. And here is our grilled chicken or barbecue chicken. That is our finished product. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked it.